Alright, what's going on guys? My name is GoJetta and welcome back to episode 5 of my playthrough of All the Mod 7 to the Sky. So things are looking a little bit different. Not majorly different, but we have some extra drawers here. So you probably tell we did some work between last episode and this. If you look inside this chest, all of our backlog of ores and stuff has been dealt with and processed, which is really good. We also did a little bit of extra grinding of like smashing up some dust and stuff. I upgraded these meshes because I needed iron, and I needed a lot of iron. So we actually found out that if we actually sieve sand, if we look at this and then we go to the sieving recipe and then look at the diamond, you actually get a 50% drop rate of iron from sand. So I processed up a bunch of that. You also get a chance for uranium and zinc and stuff. So we have a bunch of other junk just kind of sitting in here that we need to eventually deal with. I'll probably just end up throwing on a second, compactor into like a double chest, making this a double one and then having the compactor on top and pushing it down into it. Will probably be the easiest way of dealing with that, but that means adding on to this line at some point, which I can't really be bothered doing at the moment. But we're going to get on with what we said we were going to do this episode, which is, you can kind of have an idea of what we're doing, which is automatic, soul sand, and clay, right? So it's pretty much node-based. I did this one here with the soul sand just as a test to make sure that my idea would actually work. And it does, which is kind of cool, but obviously we need to hook up a couple other things, and we'll go through the setup of this on the clay one, since the setup is going to be pretty much exactly the same, just with less of a delay that you have in turning the water into witch water. So to get this started, obviously you need a ton of nodes, which is why I did a bunch of grinding, right? Because you got to remember that these nodes each take 4 iron each, and then it takes 3 iron per laser, right? So that's already, what's that? 7 iron per node. And then if you look at the logic chips, these require gold and a bunch of other things as well. So it was a lot of really expensive crafting, as well as the item cards that we're using. Needed nether quartz and gold and things like that. So, and obviously our fluid cards needs buckets. So we ended up using a lot of iron, a lot of nether quartz and stuff like that. But I think I did all the grinding that we needed to do between episodes, which is really nice for you guys, but for me took a significant amount of time, as well as I made a diamond furnace. But that's besides the point. So why does it always start raining whenever I start to record? Literally the entire time I was playing by myself, it did not rain once, but the second I hit the start recording button, rain starts falling. It's just like it knows for some reason. But either way, let's get started on this. We actually need, we're going to make this item here, which is called a sink. Does what a sink does. It's also part of the multi-block kitchen from Cooking for Blockheads. But this thing's going to serve a really handy purpose of providing water, since we need water to go into every single one of these barrels. And I think it's actually the fastest way of doing it that doesn't require what's it called? Oh my god, why is the word escaping me? That doesn't require like an aqueous accumulator and is actually relatively fast. That doesn't require power and like other things to build. So yeah, we're going to do that. So I need a bunch of iron. I need a bucket of water, which I've got. Iron, you can see we have a ton of, so let's grab that. This chest is rapidly filling up, so we need to expand our drawer system soon. Or maybe look into getting into applied energistics. Maybe that's somewhere on the line. But I don't know, I think we want to get through making clay and stuff so we can make these upgrades a lot faster. Okay, yeah, sink. That I need terracotta, which means I need clay. But do I have any? Maybe not. So let's just grab a bunch of dust. Some of these barrels are full, so we can look at see ya. So we can fill up some of these. We don't need a whole heap of terracotta. I think we only needed 5 pieces, so these 6 will do the job. I'll throw those into the diamond furnace, since that is relatively quick at cooking it up. And that'll be everything that we need for the sink. Hopefully, once this thing is finished cooking. So let's take a quick cut here. And that's number 6. That was a very quick cut, but hey, the less time we have to waffle and more building, the better. So here we go. Here's a sink. provides water to recipes, also provides water in world if you can pump out of it. So sink's just going to live there. We're going to have a laser node on top of the sink. And this thing is going to have on the bottom side a fluid card that is set to extract. A bucket every second is not going to be fast enough, but we can deal with that when we need to. And then every single node here that is sitting on top of a barrel needs pretty much the same thing. So we're just going to go to the downside, fluid insert on every single one of these. Nothing fancy, all right? So I'm going to quickly, and you know that they're working as well because you'll see the laser coming out from the bottom of it, just so you know. But I'm going to go do this off camera because this is going to take a second. Cool. And I sped that up. You got to really make sure that you put these things on the correct side. Otherwise, you just have painful mess like that. But if you look down the bottom side here, each one of these has blue laser connected, which is our fluid card connected up. So that's all well and good. We can actually connect this up to the rest of the system. I just need my laser wrench. And you can connect these up pretty easily. If I get this item here, the laser wrench. I think we made this in a previous episode. But it's just a bunch of iron and some logic chips. Yeah, because we used laser nodes before. That's right. Now we just need to connect these up to the system. So if I connect it to that, that'll throw water into every single one of these since that is already connected. And now we're just going to connect this to this system here. I like to do it in a grid pattern. Doesn't really matter exactly how you do it. It's just, I do this more so as an aesthetic thing. Just so that, why are you not working down? Maybe it's just taking a second to put water into it. There we go. Water is going in. Just so it's aesthetic, right? So that all of these things look kind of similar. I also need to connect these two nodes up to each other. So that's done. All right, so now this is pretty much set up. Now we need to do the inputs and outputs of items. As you can see, we have drawers on the front. We're going to have our input on the left, our output on the right. So our dust, especially for this clay, is going to live in this drawer. And then our, what's the word? Our clay will live in this drawer here. Same thing that we did with water. You can see here there's 40 odd working. Or this system's working now, right? Because everything else is hooked up. So sand's going in here, being extracted, putting into the nodes, into the barrels, being transformed into soul sand, and then the soul sand is coming into this drawer here. So you can see here, I've actually got these set up on channels to avoid the hassle of using filters. I would have had to use one filter actually two filters per node, right? So that you're putting in one piece of sand into these drawers and pulling out, pulling out soul sand. So to avoid that, I did it with channels. So I just need to remember here, the channels that I used was channel 1 and channel 2. So on these ones here, on the downside, we're going to have an item card set to extract. On channel, we'll go 1, 2, 3. And then this one here on the downside is going to be an insert card on channel 4. Make sense? Really easy to do. Okay, so then on these ones, each of these barrels here are actually going to need 2 cards, right? So we'll set up this first one on the downside. Remember, we have channel 1 is our input, going into it, which is going to be our sand, or channel 3. So you need to remember, okay, so downside, we're going to hit here. We're going to go channel 1, 2, 3, and then set you to, insert. So now anything that goes into this barrel is going to get extracted from the barrel and then insert into, from the storage drawer, get extracted from the storage drawer and into the barrel. So then we need another card on these. This would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 channel and set to extract so that this yellow channel will go there. So dust is going to come out of this barrel, out of this storage drawer, into the barrel, and then out of the barrel into this storage drawer. And we can test that by throwing some dust in there, and you can see this start working. And this should actually relatively work, kind of fast. It's just a matter of how much water this thing can pull out and fill into here. So by no means slow at all, right? We're already up to 5. So by having 9 of these, it's kind of going to be overkill. But so be it. It doesn't really matter too much. So that's pretty much what we're going to do now, just to 8 other nodes. And just like that, both of these systems should be fully up and running. So now it's just a matter of keeping either one of these drawers fully stocked with dust or sand, which can actually be done automatically, right? And I have a plan for that. So we need to get dust and sand in these. We can actually make these using different machines, right? Like the pulverizer can do it, but gives us a chance for flint and things like that, which isn't really something I want to deal with. So the other option would be using a crusher from Mechanism, which is another mod that we want to get into this anyway, right? Since we're going to need it for other things and like for our oil processing, because we will quickly, what's the word? Out-evolve pretty much our pulverizer. Our pulverizer right now is actually like the slowest point in this whole system here. We are actually generating ores pretty quickly. That's why I haven't really gone ahead and upgraded these crazily fast quite yet, is just because this thing just won't be able to keep up. And also we're getting like random apatite and cinnabar outputs from that. So, but besides that, actually it's thunderstorming. Let's sleep. Okay. But now that we have these things set up, what I'm going to do is actually just feed these by hand, I think. I'm just going to throw some extra dust into that one, some extra sand. Hopefully I have some laying around. I have 0. Do I want to do that? Probably not. Not right now, at least. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use this clay, because remember we need cyan to make these gold upgrades. And I want to get pretty much all of these upgraded to the max level gold ones. So we're going to need a lot of upgrades. We're going to need a lot of terracotta. So let's just throw these 40 into there. And while that's working, actually, I want to try this wireless heat transmitter and receiver. This should actually make it so that we don't need to be placing coal into this thing and use RF to power everything, which is kind of cool. So we're going to do this. I want to make a wireless heat transmitter. We may as well, while we're doing nothing else right now, while we're waiting for things to smelt up. I'm going to need my, let's grab some andesite, I guess. Oops, I didn't mean to place it. Now, do you need polished andesite? You do not. Okay, so then I need some cobblestone. I also made myself a cobblestone gen here so that I don't have to run downstairs to grab cobblestone every single time. I need a furnace. I only need 1 transmitter. Alright, keep that in mind. I need a block of redstone. So let's grab redstone. This thing is working beautifully, by the way. So let's make a couple blocks, I guess. And then I need redstone comparator. Should be able to do that. Nether quartz we have 1 piece of nether quartz. Okay, that's fine though. We're making soul sand, which means I can get more of this stuff. It's fine. It's okay. I need 1 comparator at least to start with, and I need sticks. Cool. I need 1, 2, 3. Bang, that's my redstone torches. Redstone torches turn into a comparator. And then I need transmitters. And each transmitter actually needs comparators as well. Why did you not craft? There we go. So I need more quartz. That's kind of annoying. Oops. Let's get you out of my inventory, or my hotbar. Oh no, I've got quartz in here. Okay, we're fine. Okay, transmitters, comparators. Let's make 2, since I have 2 different furnaces here. I need just a bunch of redstone and a bunch of these, so I need 6 torches. Those torches turn into... Huh? Yeah, 2, right? Yeah, that's what I needed. Turn into the wireless heat receivers, and then this thing, if we hold shift, link with a wireless heat receiver, done by placing the receiver in the wireless heat transmitter. Provide this block with forge energy, and it will power all wireless heat receivers that are bound. Beautiful. So this thing just needs to get connected to power down here. I'm just going to kind of throw it right there. You know, this thing should be receiving power. So then what I do, if we hold shift here, this tells us that it's not yet been bound to a source. And then so we do that, and now it's bound to this receiver. And then I do the same thing to that one. Now both of these are bound to that heater. And then what I should be able to do with these is transform all my furnaces into wireless like furnaces. I should no longer need to power these. So if I put that in there and then throw some stone, we're using forge power to smelt things. That's kind of nice. We should have made this way earlier when there was a quest for it. And speaking of, that actually does a quest for us. Nice. That works kind of beautifully. Okay, so we got our terracotta. Where's the rest of my cyan dye? Because we made a bunch of it, didn't we? I'm pretty sure... or did we use it all? No, there's 5 more there. Okay, cool. So let's make as many of these as we can. That makes 40. That's actually like not a bad amount at all. So then I need gold ingots and some green dye. Green dye, I literally just saw it. And then I need gold, which we should have plenty of. We have too much of, because apparently that chest is now full. So let's transplant our iron and gold, since we used that a lot, into this chest. And I need to solve storage issues at some point. I probably should have put it into that one. Oh well, that's fine. I need my gold though. Gold upgrades. You can make 7 of them. It's not really ideal. I thought I would be able to make more. We need to find a way to disable the spawn of that guy, dude. He's come back so many times, it's not even funny. Alright, so 3 is the max, which means this guy is now fully upgraded. Let's fully upgrade our gravel one as well, and then our hammer will be the next one to be fully upgraded. Beautiful. So now we should be generating... How much is it doing now? If I look at this... produces 8 items every single time and 64 RF a tick. Power may become an issue. It seems to be doing okay so far. But there's no real way that we can keep an eye on our power. We don't actually have like an energy storage or like buffer block, so we don't really know what's happening with our power. But these guys are empty, which means we're not generating enough. So we probably either need to throw in some more magmatic dynamos or figure out a different way to generate power, which will be interesting. Because ideally I would like all of these fully upgraded, right? Because I want my dust making more stuff as well. I'm going to start from the back though. So we should see, yeah, a bunch of gravel ending up in this thing, and then eventually this thing will fill up, right? Because it can't actually handle the amount of gravel that's being generated. But that's fine, we can live with that. And you can see here that our puny little pulverizer is nowhere near fast enough to deal with this stuff. So we're going to have backups here pretty rapidly, I'd assume. Which isn't ideal, but we're generating way more stuff. Cool. Let's take a quick break and then figure out where I want to go with this next. Now, let's have a quick look at this all the power tab in the technology, right? This chapter is dedicated to all things power related, from generating power to transferring it wirelessly. Your power related questions can be answered here. All right, we have many different things that we want to go. Burning fuel for power. We don't really want to do this, right? I think we want to kind of avoid burning things for power. But regardless, we can open this quest up just because it gives us experience. So heat generators, we know. Pitiful generator from industrial foregoing is a thing, and the coal generator. We made these. These are all things that you need to insert coal into to generate power, which isn't ideal. Next would be power storage. This is something we want to deal with. I'm thinking we go into the mechanism storage cube just cause it's going to be what we're heading towards anyway, and getting into mechanism machines. And even our Modpack author seems to think that mechanism is one of the best energy storage. That's cool. Create and store a lot of power. Can also be upgraded and can charge items from within the GUI. Yeah, that's one thing. Renewable energy is probably what we want to look into, which is kind of technically what we're doing, right? With our geothermal, what's it called? Our little magmatic dynamos, right? Because we're generating lava to do it, which isn't a bad idea. But this is wind, solar, a honey generator. That's kind of cool. But we don't have bees. Power transfer, that's fine. Advanced power generation with bigger reactors. The smallest reactor you can make is a 3x3. The bigger reactor is quest line. I have no idea how this mod works. How expensive are you? Graphite. How do I get graphite? I'm from graphite dust? No? Ah, we just smelt coal. Okay, that's not hard. Uranium we've actually got. Right, we can get that from sieving sand is how we get uranium. If I look, uranium pieces here. So we've actually got access to uranium. That's probably not a horrible way to do this. I have no idea how this works though. Oh, we can hit W to ponder. Cool. Walls can be that, or reactor glass. Fuel rods can run. Okay. And control rod sits at the top of the fuel. Terminal needs to be included. Power tap in the water, get power out of the reaction access ports for insertion of uranium and stuff. And extraction of, I guess, whatever the byproduct is, because that's usually how these things work. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Let's leave it. I'm going to leave it for today. So next episode, I think we want to get into mechanism. What I might do is probably just throw in some more magmatic generators. Let's go with like 9 of these. I think 9 will be plenty. And it won't be too overkill to craft and things like that. And then obviously we will probably have to upgrade our lava generation since these guys are all empty. Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to have to do here. But we'll do that next episode, and we'll leave it. And if you guys have any better ideas for power generation, make sure you leave them down below and I'll kind of look into it. Besides that, what I'm going to do between episodes is actually I'm going to fill up these bad boys with 2,000 each of sand and dust, just so that we have a ton of clay and a ton of soul sand for when we eventually need it. And once we have mechanism, we will make these things fully automated rather than partially automated. But hey, let's deal with that when we come to it. Regardless, anyways, if you guys are still watching, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the video, like it, subscribe if you haven't already, all that jazz. And we'll see you all on the next one. Peace.